Hello, welcome everyone to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Mo and this is my channel FPL Inkling, where you can get the latest and the best content for Fantasy Premier League for the season of 2021-2022. Before we start today, guys, I'm just going to let you know what this video is going to be based around. The video is around a draft which is solely based around the Liverpool defence. So I've been asked by a few people on social media during my draft videos to create a draft where potentially I could have all the back line of mine being the Liverpool defence. So I've chosen the 3 premium Liverpool defenders and I've decided to make a draft which basically I can get all the best players around it to make sure we can move this draft and make it work for the rest of the season. Surprisingly as it not, last season there was quite a few people who actually went for this draft before Van Dijk got injured, and the season before some people used this draft because they were the highest rewarding players, including Van Dijk himself. So we've made a draft. I'm going to go through the rationale of my decisions around it. Let me know what your thoughts are, but before we begin, if you haven't been here before and you've come here for the first time, I'd like to welcome you. If you like the content, all you got to do is hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to help me reach 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. So let's not waste any further time and let's get stuck into the draft itself. So number 1, in goal, Robert Sanchez. He's pretty much been in every single draft that I've made. I've given my rationales behind it. Pretty much the highest owned goalkeeper at the moment. A real decent price at 4.5 mil. 101 points last season. He got 10 clean sheets, didn't play the whole season, kind of came partly in way through it. He got 8 bonus points as well, but the thing about him is, which kind of stands out for me personally, is the fact that he's an amazing shot stopper. Not only can he, guarantee you some points from saves, because every 3 saves that a goalkeeper makes, they'll get a point which is rewarded to them. So if the more saves he makes, it's ideal in terms of with the clean sheet, bonus points and some save points as well. So that's my rationale behind him. And in terms of backup for him, I've chosen Foster in goal. So he's the most owned backup goalkeeper by the managers at the moment. He probably won't get, number 1 choice at Watford. Probably going to be Backman. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's going to be the number 1 choice, who was the last season as well. So Ben Foster got like the last game of the season, which was kind of like a dead rubber. Didn't have any significance, so he kind of got an outing to play. But I think Backman is going to be their number 1. But as a backup, not a bad choice whatsoever. So now, let's move over to the heart of this draft. So why I've made this draft and why my backline is all the 3 Liverpool defenders. Barring those 3, I'm just going to let you know that my other 2 defenders that I've chosen is Lamptey, who's going to be on my bench. So if he does need to come in as a rotation player, he pretty much should be guaranteed week in, week out starts. And he's quite aggressive in terms of going forward, and in terms of returns, in terms of clean sheets as well, if they do get any, which would be a bonus as well. But last season only played like around 8 or 9 games in total due to injury. But he got 3 goals and an assist, which was quite good. And he looked quite promising before we got that unfortunate injury. So that's why he's on my bench. Already almost owned by 19% of managers. And if we look at their first 5 fixtures, there's some favourable ones in there, barring Everton and Leicester, which seem a bit more difficult. But that's why I put him on the bench, so he can come on if needn't be. This 5th defender, I'm really not looking for them to play hardly any minutes, but that's not a problem because I don't intend to use them during the course of the season, and that is Manquillo from Newcastle, owned by around 11% of managers, 28 points last season, 4 million price. Probably ain't going to be used at all, so I don't really need to invest any more into this player than required. So let's go through the defence now, guys. So we'll start off with the skipper of Liverpool, hopefully will return at the start of the season. He's priced at 6.5 mil, the same as what he's been priced for the last couple of seasons. So I think it's a fair price. Already selected by nearly 9% of managers, just over. He only got 15 points last season, but he did get that horrific injury from Jordan Pickford. But he got a goal in his first game last season where he scored from the corner set piece. Already had 1 clean sheet as well. So, the potentials of goal returns from him are there. So you can see from the last, 2 seasons before that, he got 5 goals and 2 assists in the season before. And 18-19, he got 4 goals and 4 assists. Now, it's a toss-up between him and Robertson. Robertson will get you more assists, but then again, if you go $500,000 cheaper, is it worth it? It may be. So that's something to maybe consider long-term in terms of Liverpool as well. So that's why I thought I'd bring him up first to show that he might be kind of forgotten by most managers, but he, is one of the best defenders in the world before he got injured. Will he be the same? That's yet to be seen. But do you know what? Fingers crossed he can come back and perform like he used to, because, we've had people like Luke Shaw who had a similar injury, which was career threatening, but he's come back and, touch wood, look how well he's doing right now, not only for Manchester United, but for England as well. So Van Dijk at the back, solid, will play pretty much every single game, barring injury. and he's a safe bet to get you some good rewards, not only from clean sheets, bonus points, but also a handy assist or a goal as well from a set piece. Next, of course, is Trent Alexander-Arnold. So last season, wasn't his best season by any stretch of the imagination for the last 2 seasons, which we got used to. But it wasn't that bad, to be fair. Yes, I understand he's worth 7.5 mil in price, but think about it in this sense. He got 160 points last season, right? I don't think there's any 7.5 million midfielder rated this season or priced this season actually achieved that feat. I think someone who probably got close was probably Jack Harrison. But yet again, that's just the one odd. But you look at other potential players like Trent. You've got Trent Alexander is kind of priced against is Mason Mount from Chelsea, Greenwood from United, and you've got Jota as well. I know they were injured and they didn't pretty much play the full season. Even like Foden, you got more points than him. So is it worth actually investing the funds in him, who is going to play week in week out and has that potential threat of getting you something ahead, or are you going to play with the clean sheet bonus as well attached to it, or are you going to put your eggs in the basket of a midfielder? That's entirely your choice, but I'm more of a Trent fan, so any drafts that I personally make for myself, I kind of ensure that I have him in at present. So that's why he's in, guys. He's owned by 27% of managers for a reason. Yes, I believe he's a bit expensive, but that's a fair price because a season or two before, we had experts predicting he could be 8 million, 9 million. Some even went, as far as saying 10, which I think was slightly ambitious. But he's 7.5, guys. You know what you're going to get with him. And he didn't have a great season last season. He didn't play the Euros due to injury. So he's going to be pretty fresh. Fingers crossed if he fully recovers, gets his rehab, he's going to be someone to look out for. In terms of their fixtures, I didn't go through it in terms of Van Dijk, but I'll go through it now in terms of them. In the first 8 game weeks, they play all the 3 promoted sides. And look at the amount of green you have there. Barring Chelsea and Manchester City and United in the first 10 game weeks, pretty nice fixtures, to be fair. And not to say they can't get anything from those difficult fixtures. By all means, they can defensively and attackingly for these defenders. But if you look at that from like a managerial point of view, ideal fixtures to take the advantage here. So I do understand why people have requested this draft where they want 3 defenders, maybe looking away from Salah and having like a Bruno potentially, or a Kevin De Bruyne, or a Son, or a Sterling up ahead, or even Kane. Not too sure, but I couldn't fit all of those additional players in here. But I've chosen one, which is Kevin De Bruyne, which I'll come on to in terms of why I chose him. The next person I've gone for is Andrew Robertson, obviously. So the 3rd premium defender from Liverpool themselves. So this is why it's called the Liverpool's premium draft, because I've got all their premium defenders in the back line. 161 points last season, the highest scoring defender in the game last season with 1 goal and 8 assists. A respectable 161 points, priced at 7 mil. So he's been around that price for the last 2 seasons. He hit 200 points 2 seasons ago and a respectively 181 the season before. You can always see he's always there or thereabouts in terms of returns and assists. He's $500,000 cheaper than Trent. So there might be some people who decide to go for Robertson rather than Trent, which is fairly understandable. I might be one of those. I'm pretty much Trent at the moment. But if I make a draft where I need that extra $500,000, there is no reason why I can't bring Robertson in, because over the course of the season, you're looking at about the same return, $500,000 cheaper. So that's the reason why. And might be a good differential, because at the moment you can see there's a 15% disparity in terms of managers. So if Robertson does come good, not to say Trent Alexander can't, but let's just say hypothetically he did come good, that would boost your ranking significantly in the first part of the season, which will give you a good kind of start point, and it will give you a good comparative advantage compared to other FPL managers. Right, that's the defence done. So that's the core of the draft, the Liverpool defence out of the way. Now let's focus on the front 7 who I've chosen and why. I've gone a bit differential in this draft because I kept picking the same players again and again. Your Fernandes, your Kanes, your Salahs. But obviously I couldn't get Salah in this one because I've already got the 3 Liverpool players. But I wanted to go a bit different. And I thought, let's see what this draft looks like. And this is what I thought potentially were good players to bring in over the course of the season. So remember, this isn't just a draft for game week 1. The ideal draft is to be as a long-term draft as possible. So I chose Kevin De Bruyne as my premium in terms of the forward line. He's selected by almost 16% of managers. I think he's been pretty much overlooked. The biggest thing is the price. Now, 12 million for me, I think he is overpriced this season based on last season. So if you look at it from 2019, 2020, he got 251 points. And last season, let's have a look. He was priced at 9.5 mil when he started the game. So I'm sorry, 11.5 he finished on when he started the game. So you think from that perspective, I expected him to be around that price, but 12 mil is a bit step too far. I think 11.5 would have been fair for him, but again, based on last season's stats, I wouldn't have gone for the extra budget. But I think that might be something that people overlook because he has been phenomenal as the years have gone by. Risk of rotation, that may come in this season. I'm not too sure, but he started to get rotated a lot more by Guardiola. But otherwise, he's pretty much nailed on to play week in, week out. Fixtures, first part, obviously the first game is against Tottenham. People are looking at it as like a difficult fixture. Yes, they're a strong team. They have a new manager in Nuno. How are they going to play? Tottenham didn't have a great finish to last season. Man City didn't have a great start to the season, but had a great finish. So, Manchester City, on paper, should win this game. And if they do, and they perform to their ability, which everyone expects, then Kevin De Bruyne will be the guy who will kind of be running the show, you'd expect. So, otherwise, they've got Norwich, Arsenal, Leicester, Southampton. I think that's a pretty good fixture list for them. And Kevin De Bruyne, if with Aguero gone now, pretty much, he might be the one who takes the penalty spot kicks as well. Obviously, there's Mahrez as well, but we'll see who that's going to be. But I think Kevin De Bruyne has a chance of taking penalties as well. The next midfielder I've chosen is Son. So I've not included Son in every single draft, but you know what? He's someone you just can't simply ignore. He's been around the 9 mil, 9.5 mil for the last couple of seasons, but he's gone up to 10 mil this season, which I think is quite a fair and genuine price for him because he got 228 points last season, which he was, pretty much in the top part of point scorers for the FPL season. Obviously, he had a great partnership with Kane. Will Kane remain at Spurs? It's a big question. And if he does leave, will Son play as well or get the returns which he got last season or the seasons before? That's yet to be seen. But let's just appreciate his numbers from last season and let you know how well he did do. 17 goals, 11 assists. So you pretty much was almost getting a return every game from him if you took it from a whole season point of view. 228 points respectively, got 26 bonus points, guys. And in terms of Tottenham, yes, they've got Man City first game away, but then look at the next three fixtures. That's really good time for you to cash in with Son. You've got Wolves, Watford and Crystal Palace. So there's some really good fixtures coming there. And Son, he's always there or thereabouts. He usually gets free kicks. He wins penalties. So his assists will be high, genuinely. And he's not a selfish player. This is one thing I highly respect about him and which really attracts me to him as an FPL asset is like Bamford. He's not very selfish in terms of like he wants to get the goal. I mean, you see players like Salah who potentially can square it but decides to shoot himself. Not to say that's something bad about him, but looking at it from a fantasy Premier League point of view or an FPL manager point of view, that's ideal that you've got a player who will play for the team, won't think about himself, and it will benefit you overall over the course of seasons. So that's why I've got Son in here. I've also got Rafinha, so pretty much every FPL manager's favourite player at the moment in terms of pricing wise, because I think he has been underpriced. I would have been about 7 mil for me this season. 25% of managers have already signed him up, 133 points respectively last season, 10 assists, 6 goals with 11 bonus points. They do have tough fixtures up front, but to be fair, there's no reason why he can't deliver in those because Leeds, with Bielsa's theory or his kind of like aggressive and attacking mindset for Leeds, they will attack regardless. They played Liverpool last season, lost 4-3, lost 6-2 to Manchester United. They beat Manchester City by 1 goal at the Etihad. So they do like to attack. So never underwrite off Leeds United just because of the opposition. There's always something to be hopeful for them to deliver for you. And then I've chosen Greenwood. Now Greenwood, the reason why he's coming to this draft is Rashford's now having surgery on his shoulder, which he's nurtured for quite a while. And I think that kind of rules him out for at least 2 to 3 months, potentially even more, based on his rehab and how quickly they can get him back. So, first there was all this ambiguity around Sancho coming in. Is Greenwood going to play? Is Martial going to play? But I do believe with him being sidelined, it gives Mason Greenwood to allow to play, on the left or the right, even up front where he likes to play as well. So there is a real good chance that he will get a lot of good game time. And playing for a club like Manchester United, who win a lot of penalties, like to score goals, it's a good shout. So you're going to weigh him up against Jota, Mount, these kind of players, similar prices, and I think he will be someone that I think, obviously with the Manchester United bias as well, that I'm looking at as well. So that's why I've chosen Greenwood. He got 7 goals, 2 assists last season. That predominantly came in the second half of the season because the first half he didn't really get much game time, was out of form. So it kind of picked up pace at the end of the season. His game fixtures pretty friendly to basically, I think, game week 5. They've got Leeds at home, Southampton away, Wolves away, and Newcastle at home, followed by West Ham and Aston Villa. So I really want to take advantage of that if that is possible. So, in my own potential draft, he's not in there just yet, but watch out for the space. I might be able to draft him in at any point. Up front are my 3 strikers that I have full trust in. Mikel Antonio, I hope he doesn't get injured. 11.2% ownership at the moment, 7.5 mil in price. Got 118 points last season with 10 goals, 5 assists. In terms of fixtures for West Ham, I think they've got some really good fixtures, to be fair, barring Leicester and Manchester United. In the first 5 game weeks, Newcastle away, Palace at home and Southampton away. Should actually give a good chance for Antonio to really get stuck in and get some returns from that. He might even take spot kicks, depending on who's on the pitch. Does Lingard go back? Will Noble be on the pitch? So it'll be worth seeing. So let's see how we take it from there. Ollie Watkins is my other striker. High ownership of around 33% of managers. 7.5 mil in price and respectively got 168 points last season. 14 goals, 9 assists. Pretty much played every single minute. Barring the game, he was suspended. And he's a nice little, he'll be playing, and he's kind of like that safe bet every week. And look at his first 3 fixtures. This is what excites me about Aston Villa: Watford away, Newcastle home, Brentford at home, and obviously then they've got Chelsea, Everton, Manchester United, Tottenham. But take nothing away, last season they did overachieve. Great job by the manager at Aston Villa, but I generally believe that if they are to get a good start this season, the first 3 games will play a major part in that. And last but not least, Ivan Toney, 35.7% in ownership. Obviously no history in terms of last season, but he played in 15-16 season, 12 minutes, got 2 points. But what I was going to say generally from him, I haven't seen much of him. 33 goals and 8 or 9 assists last season in the Championship, which was the highest goals scored by anyone, so you can't really write him off. On penalties, let's see how Brentford play. So it'll be worth seeing how he kind of fares in the Premier League itself. I hope it goes well for him. I really do hope he starts off well. And that's why I put him up to give some kind of like spread of funds up front as well. I could have gone Pookie for 6 mil and used that 0.5 mil elsewhere. But I've gone for Ivan Toney because, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. And Bissouma is my kind of like, if I need him for 2 points, so someone's rested, he's on the bench as well. 16% ownership. Pretty much got 1 goal last season, played almost every minute. Won't give you the returns in terms of attacking sense, but will give you those 2 points that you need if he does need to come on from there. So that's my draft, guys, for the Liverpool premium defence. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree with it? Do you like it? And this is what I've gone. I could have gone so easily, De Bruyne to, I could have gone Mane, I could have gone Fernandes, and use that 0.5 mil elsewhere. But I wanted to use Kevin De Bruyne in at least one of my drafts to see what it looks like. But this isn't my draft, guys. This is a draft I made for all those who are kind of inquiring or actually looking at the possibility of using 3 premium defenders from Liverpool itself. So let me know what your thoughts are. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, help me get to that 1K subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. Let me reach that milestone as soon as possible. And if you want the latest notifications, all you need to do is hit that lovely bell icon and you'll be notified of my content as soon as I release it. If you haven't joined the FPL Inklink League itself on the website, all you got to do is plug in that code at the bottom left, type it in and join the league, and let's have a lovely league this season. And best of luck to all the managers who are playing the game. If you want to contact me, guys, my social media is below. Drop me a comment on the video as well. I'll be there to help you guys out and respond to you as soon as I can. And also, if you need anything, all you need to do is just give me a message. I'll be there to help you. Best of luck making your draft, guys. It's not too long now. The days are ticking by. Get stuck in and let me know what your thoughts are. See you soon.